Chav Zayin and Aleph.
Is it possible to learn the Ilui and Nishmas Bas Yechai Bas Ephraim?
Of course. Bas Yechai Bas Ephraim. Okay, so yes, let's start again. So we started this very quickly right at the end of Friday, but let's start it again. 2 dots on Chav Zayin and Aleph. Rabbi Elazar, Rabbi Yosi Bar Chanina. There's machlokes between Rabbi Elazar, or at least 2 different versions of what they said, and what 2 different angles of their approach. One was Rabbi Elazar's approach, one was Rabbi Chanina's approach. Chad Maaseh Erev, Chad Maaseh Meiser. So they said independent statements, but we'll see if those 2 independent statements argue with each other or not. One said it as far as Meiser, one said as far as Erev, because we had 2 different halachas so far about the idea that water and salt are not valid for both making an Erev, of leaving your food in that place to extend your living quarters so that you can have 2,000 more amis, if you want to, or 1,000 or whatever, how many more you want, depending on where you put the Erev. So that Erev cannot be made out of salt or water, and nor can the acquisition of Meiser Sheni with your Meiser Sheni money that you redeemed from your crops onto coins, and now you go from your coins onto the food you buy cannot be water or salt. So they each made an independent statement about these 2 things, and let's see how it works out. So and what was the statement which they made? The statement was, it's only true when you have water by itself or salt by itself. That's when you cannot buy these things or use these things for the purposes of either Erev or Meiser Sheni. Deim Eruvin. Okay, so one said specifically about the Erev, and he said it's only about salt and water separately. You can't make an Erev. B'mayim umelach marvin. But if you have salt in water, okay, then it's a mixture. Then you are allowed to make an Erev with that mixture, because that mixture now is deemed as food as opposed to just 2 non-nourishing items. By putting them together, they become a dip. Once they're a dip, they're good to go. The other one said it regarding Meiser, Lo Shanu El Mayim, if that's Melech, made the exact same statement, but in a different case, referring to Meiser. That's only true when you have the salt and the water independently. They nikhin. Or you can't buy the Meiser Sheni with you can't buy those things with Meiser Sheni money. Av Mayim Melech nikhin. But if you have Mayim and Melech together, then you could buy nikhin because of Meiser. Okay, then they are able to be quiet with the money of Meiser, because again, it's viewed as a dip used for food, and as such has been elevated to a higher status. So the question is, are these exclusive? Do they agree? What's the story? So man the master Meiser kolshkener. If you say Meiser could be bought, if you can buy with your Meiser Sheni money, you can buy salt water. If you hold you can do that, then certainly you can make an Erev with salt water. Man the master Erev, but the one who learns it as it relates to Erev of a Meiser loy, he will say it's specifically to Meiser. It's specifically to Erev and not to Meiser. The one who learned it on Erev. My timer, because what's the difference? Why would there be a different rule for Meiser than there would be for Erev? And the answer is Pira Be'inon, because you need the definition of a fruit or a food, something that has a certain significance and it doesn't reach that threshold. So even though the Pira normally means fruit, here it means it's a choshev of food, as we're going to learn later on. Okay.
How do you make an Eruv out of salt?
You put it in a jar and you leave it there and you say this food is...
Right, so you can leave the jar there without the salt water.
No, it's got to be food. It's got to be an edible item.
Oh, this is just for the edible item. We're not talking about building walls out of...
No. This is all about the food. We said all foods are good to make an Erev to extend your abode. You have to with
prepositioned food.
Yeah, right. Exactly. Right. Because normally we use a box of matzah, we use challah, but we're extending it. We're saying that if you don't have matzah, you don't have challah, you don't have a piece of salami, you can do it with salt water, if the salt is in the water and it's already mixed. Okay. Let's see. Kiyasa Rav Yitzchak Masni a Meiser. When Rav Yitzchak came, he learned this relating to Meiser, basically saying that indeed, even Meiser, you are allowed to use salt water you're allowed to buy salt water with the food you have. Let's see. Any Rashi's here. Okay, let's do that. Fourth wide line of Rashi. Chad Masya Erev, Chad Masya Meiser. Hi Lo Shanu. The Karmino will come on that Lo Shanu. It's a little bit more flips normally. Normally it tells you what it says, and then you tell, and then you say here it's the Lo Shanu we're about to say. The Gemara is not telling you even before the fact that one learned this on Erev and one learned it on Meiser, and we got two different approaches, two different opinions. Mayim u'melach hamuravim mozonhein. When mayim and when salt and water are mixed, they are considered a food. L'tavel behen pitoi, to dip your bread into the salt water. That was one of the things they used to do in those days. So it would be good. Now, where would it be good? Would it be good for Erev? Would it be good for Meiser? So the Gemara says, the one who says it's for Erev will say it will not be good for Meiser because Pera be'inon, kil kamon, michal prat. We're going to learn from a kal prat that you need something more legit than just salt water. Okay, so let's see. Ki Yasser of Yitzchak, next Rashi. Ki Yasser of Yitzchak, Masni lahai lo shanu Meiser. When Yitzchak came from Eretz Yisrael, he taught this halach, and he said it as it relates to Meiser, clearly encompassing both things. So according to him, it applied to Meiser, and it certainly applied to Erev. Okay, Meisvei. So let's now back to the Gemara. We're going to attack this from a brisa. Hey Rabbi Yehuda ben Godish, Shofnei Rabbi Elazar shel Beis Abba, hayu loikchin tzir bekesef meiser. So Rabbi Yehuda ben Godish testified in front of Rabbi Elazar and said, shel Beis Abba, my father's house, hayu loikchin tzir bekesef meiser. They would buy fish brine with kesef meiser, with the money of meiser. So fish brine seems a lot more elevated than salt water. Fish brine is coming out of a gesundte fish. Okay, and who doesn't love that pickle juice?
Sort of
What?
It's sort of like chicken soup. You take the fish, you put it in the salt water, and you take it out.
Well, okay, but you got some.
Had fish brine from Stockton.
So
You are 100% correct.
So Amalai. So when Rabbi Elazar heard this testimony of Yehuda ben Godish that Tati used to use the fish brine as a valid acquisition of Meiser Sheni money, Amalai Shemalai Shemata Ella Shekirve Dagim Muravim Behen. Maybe you heard that this is only true when the actual pickle is in the brine. Okay, when the fish is mixed up with it. Okay, only then it works. Okay, so clearly what we have here are two different opinions of Tanoim, but seems like, so Rabbi Elazar's opinion was, you sure? It seems like, I think you need to have the fish with it actually, and it's not good enough just to have fish brine. The other one says, no, fish brine is good. So let's continue. I feel Rabbi ben Godish, so clearly, according to Rabbi Elazar, for sure, salt water's out. Right, there's nothing to talk about. Clearly, you need something of real substance to be connected to this liquid. You only said it by brine, which is the fat of the food itself. When you've got the fish itself producing this brine, that's something more legit. But Mayim Melech doesn't seem to work. So from this brisa, I don't see where you have a right to extend it to Meiser. It seems like these two Tanoim definitely would not buy into the salt water concept. They're barely willing to. They don't agree even on the fish brine. They certainly would both say salt water is out. Let's finish the Rashi's on the page. Even if you don't have the insides of the fish, I don't know what they call it there, but whatever. There's, I guess, the way they would make the brine, they would put the fats of the fish or the innards of the fish in there to, help it, develop it or whatever, make it more tasty. But he says, see, he would only say when you don't have, even though you don't need the kirvei dagim muravim yesh ksas mishamnam, but there's still some residual level of the fat of the fish in the brine, imamayim melach, together with the salt and water, right? So you have salt water, and you have the fish exuding its fats to get it going. So it's not, you can't look at this as just salt water. It's a whole different level of chashivas of mayim melach bialmo the lav tzirhu. It's not brine; it's just salt water. Lo yamar. They never said it. So this seems to put Rav Yitzchak in a bad spot. Doesn't seem to be that the Tanoim agree with this whole salt water situation. So Rav Yosef says, Lo nitzrucha ela shenosin letochen shemen. Okay, when we said that salt water is good, it's only good if you put oil in the salt water. And then you've elevated the salt water to something more choshev, not merely salt water. So Rashi, that salt water could be bought with Meiser Sheni money is only true when you put oil into the salt water. So Abai is bothered by this. So you're telling me, so that's a chiddush. Don't think salt water by itself will work for. We're not really discussing the meiser aspect. Could be by meiser, it does work, it doesn't work. The Gemara is not willing because that seems to be more lenient meiser. But when you got this obligation of pira of real food, that's where certainly for sure that's where this is going on, and you need oil to be mixed in for the salt water to work. So Abai says, well, I don't really get it. The minute you put oil in, if that's what you're talking about, you put oil into the salt water, typically mishum shemen. Then forget the salt water. Who needs the salt water? You got oil. Oil is valid. We never know. There's no discussion about oil being an issue. If you have olive oil or chais, corn oil, whatever you got there, typically I guess olive oil, the olive oil is choshev. That's fine, right? Especially tonight. Who doesn't want olive oil? So Lamaisa, it's a choshev thing. So why would you even have to tell me that? Then you've just so watered down, no pun intended, the chiddush that there's nothing left. Okay, of course oil is good. So Gemara says no, there is a chiddush here. What's a chiddush? So here's the chiddush, and this normally we hear this word havlah very often when it comes to hiring babysitters on doing work on Shabbos. How do you pay for people who work on Shabbos? And the answer is you pay them by havlah. You mix the work you pay them during the week together with the work you pay them on Shabbos, so it's all one big payment. It doesn't just come to pay Shabbos. But you can't really pay the money after Shabbos for work that they did for you on Shabbos uniquely and individually. That would definitely be a problem. So we have this concept of law, but now we have a little bit of a different type of a similar idea, but it's a different context, of course, that the chiddush is that when I pay for salt water and oil, I'm going to pay some more for the salt and the water. There's no way you're not paying more money. You're not going to pay the exact same amount that you just would have paid for oil. Okay, so you have 2 ounces, and in those 2 ounces, 1 ounce is oil, and another ounce is salt water, and now I'm being charged 2 ounces. Maybe the halacha should be, if I didn't have this chiddush, I would say your money only could cover the 1 ounce of oil. Okay, and it's Meiser Sheni. You want to buy you want to use Meiser Sheni money to buy this stuff in Eretz Yisrael. When you're in Yerushalayim and you want to be able to enjoy the food, the food that you want to buy with your Meiser Sheni money in Yerushalayim, which is the halacha, how do you know that the money that goes towards the salt and the water is valid money that could go towards that? Maybe the idea would be, because after all, at the end of the day, it doesn't really work, right? So what would happen? The salt water would have to be considered non-holy money. But what? So you have to sell it now again and buy new stuff with that money? Or can you say, I'm giving it to you one time by havlah, I'm paying you once? The Torah sort of lets it go and says it's fine. And even though you really bought non-legit Meiser Sheni stuff with part of that money, I'm going to let it go because with the other part of the money, you bought legit stuff, you bought the oil, and for there, it's going to be allowed. So it's sort of like, it sort of gets all brought in together and sucked into one deal.
It sounds, I know that it's a legitimate concept, but I don't understand it. You said it, we all done it all the time, but how is it justified? I don't get it. They're 2 separate things.
Well, but I'm buying 2 ounces of salad dressing with oil, salt, and water. So I'm buying one thing. It's in one jar.
So basically, it's not just oil. You're buying a mixture. It's
okay, but half of that mixture is not legit for Meiser Sheni money. If you want to take the Ma'aser Sheni money by itself and buy salt water, you couldn't do it.
Right.
But now I'm buying with my $5. I'm buying 2 ounces of oil mixed in with salt water.
So, but it's not really oil anymore. It's a mixture of oil. and
Okay,
salt
but the oil part I have a right to buy. What I don't have a right to buy is the salt water. So since you're paying $5 for the entire,
I get that. I guess, but it's
You don't
not
like
really,
it?
It's not really oil anymore.
well, whatever you want to call it, that mixture is only legit as far as it relates to the oil. The oil part is what we're going to get to.
Okay,
Let's say bottle bar. Let's make it easier. Bottle bar tanura.
All right.
Okay, now the bottle's worth. Let's say the bottle's worth $1, just for argument's sake, and the bar tanura is worth $9. So I'm going to pay $10. So do I now? Now you can't tell me the bottle is Ma'aser Sheni money.
No.
I mean, you can't buy a bottle of Ma'aser Sheni money. You got to buy food.
Right.
But do I now have to take the bottle, sell it, get $1 back, and use another $1, or can I just say, you know what, the Torah's not going to bother you to start nickel and diming. If you're paying $10 for the bar tanura, it's going to cover it, and you're done, and you don't have to do anything else. So I know you don't want any breaks in Yiddishkeit. You want the most severe approach possible. I get you. I understand what you're saying, but the Torah once in a while wants to give you a break once in a while, but you don't want it. You just
You can't allocate a Yerushalayim and say, I'm coming, when I have this kiddush, the guy says it's $1,000 for the kiddush, and I'm going to use my Meiser money for this kiddush. Now, part of that money is going to pay the caterer for his work and his workers. And,
or napkins and paper goods.
yes,
Okay.
which aren't edible.
Okay, great. That's okay. It's a
So
great.
So are you allowed to do that then? You're saying?
I would say there no. Okay, I would say there no. You just went too far. Okay, because it's still not one item. We'll have to see. We're going to learn it, and it has to be
Your
one
Meiser
entity.
It says you can buy meat and wine, whatever your heart desires.
Right.
So if you want to do this massive Suda with all kinds of meat
I understand,
and
but
wine-
most people don't eat napkins. Most people don't eat napkins. It's
This is what you're saying. Really, this is a Polish or.
oh, you're saying it. I didn't give that case. You gave that case. Okay, so.
That's how you call the kiddush, whether it's a Polish or napkins.
Okay, so Gemara, it says Lo tzricha shnosan one more time, a second line of the Gemara. Lo tzricha shnosan dmei mayim umelach bavlo. You gave the money for the salt water and oil bahavla, and that makes it okay. Let's see Rashi bavla, and then we'll explain this further. Bavla b'shvil hamayim v'melach kono hashemen. The yoker, because of the salt and water in the oil, you paid more money. It was more expensive to pay for that oil. There was right. It's time if I would have bought an ounce of oil, it would have been less than if I buy an ounce of oil together with the salt and water. This is the chiddush. Rabbi Yitzchak saying in this case where you made it one deal in one. And I guess really what you're saying is valid. It's a new entity, but at the end of the day, that new entity still has salt and water, which is not legit. But because it's one item, it's considered okay, and the money is sort of all rolled in together as one deal and one acquisition, and it's all good. Really, Vavloi Mishori is really, does Avlo allow you to do this? Is this something that's legit? Because after all, Gary was bothered by it. It sounds a little shady. Gemara says yes, Havla is totally legit. Vatanya, I'm going to prove it. Normally Vatanyas are questions, but here Rashi tells you Vatanya is benichus. It's a statement. It's not a attack. It's a support, which does happen, fairly often throughout Shas. That Vatanyas are benichusas with just a statement. And that let's see this statement. Let's learn this whole big brisa here. A lot of stuff going on. And from here we'll see that indeed this concept of avla is a very valid concept when it comes to buying Ma'aser Sheni. So Vatanya, here's the brisa. Ben Babga Goimer, Babokar. Okay, so the pasuk says, if you have the fancy Gemaras, you read the Sadi Gemara. So exactly what Michael just said. You use your money to buy whatever you want. So there's no limitation to what you can do to buy the Ma'aser Sheni money with, right? You can buy anything, right? So, but then right after it says B'chol shetav v'nafshecha, the pasuk says Baboko b'tzoyin b'yayin v'shecha. So why in the world do I need these 4 specific statements when I've already got a complete generality saying everything goes? So if everything goes, leave the cattle and the sheep and the wine and the shecha or old wine. They say. Leave it out. Who needs it? Because I don't have to. I'm not limited.
Was meat, wasn't it?
What?
Mead.
Yeah, it's they have different translations, but yeah, it's we'll see. So the point is, why do the Torah identify these four as things you buy when the Torah already said you don't have to limit it to anything? So what's the deal? What's going on with these four words? These four words have to be explained. So Ben Bagba comes along to explain it. Ben Bagba goimer, baboko malamed shaleichem bakar al gavayrei, that you can buy the bakar together with the skin. Now, the skin is unedible. You're not going to eat a wallet, right? You're not going to eat the skin. The skin's going to be used for other stuff. Okay, so yet when I pay for the piece of the cow, or if you buy the cow, when you buy the cow, the skin is part of the deal. Do I have to now take the value of the skin, sell it, and buy edible stuff with the value of the skin? Or do you say, no, come on, it's one animal, you bought the animal, you bought it from Ma'aser Sheni, it's good, go ahead, don't worry about it. Okay, so I guess, this is where it's similar to, but it's similar, but it's not similar, right? The skin is like the napkin. The difference is the skin is on top of the bakar. I mean, it's all part, it's one item. The napkin's a separate entity. Let's see. So
the aluminum tray that
still, you're pushing it. I don't know.
the aluminum, you put the food in the aluminum tray, and that's either how you heat it.
Okay, yeah.
The kugel,
Let's see.
has an
Okay.
aluminum tray.
Okay, maybe. I hear you. Right? No one's going to buy a kugel without an aluminum tray. I mean,
Yes.
what good is a
Yes.
held? Okay, that I'm beginning to go along with you. Okay, fine. No, I hear. Okay, let's see.
There's some people who won't buy the tray without the kugel.
That's me.
Yeah, it's like, what's the purpose of the tray? Put something in it.
Okay, fair enough. So Malamed Shaloich. 1 second. Yeah. So Malamed Shaloichin Bak Al Gabi Ayrei Uvitzoy Malamed Shaloichin Tzoyin Al Gav Gizasa. Now let's go a little further. Not only am I allowed to get the skin, I even get the shearings of the sheep, because the sheep has wool on it. Now the wool is not as fundamental to the animal as the skin is, right? A sheep can live without the wool, but the animal's not going to live without the skin. So that's the next word teaching you can even buy the wool. And by wine, the Torah is telling you that you can even buy the wine together with the barrel that the wine is in.
Like aluminum tray for the kugel.
Okay, we're getting okay, fine. That's good. With sheikhar, and it's this kind of wine that's fermented old wine from the grapes, whatever that's leftover grapes. Malamed shlochin temed mishehichmitz. That you're allowed to buy temed once it ferments and it becomes now edible, even though the only way it fermented was by putting salt. Water. I think water and salt in there to get it, and that is not really legit. But you know what? It now has become a valid drinking item. It's now so you can buy it with your money. So these four things are learnt out from these four words. Clearly, the message is that Avlah works, because all these things are advanced chidushim of Avlah. Finally, and the last case ending with Temed. Let's catch up in the Rashi there for a minute.
You're not limited to those four things for your mice or money.
No, the chiddush is that even these four things have other things attached to it. You can still buy it, and you don't have to now micromanage the situation by selling that thing to get new Ma'aser Sheni money to buy more Ma'aser, more edible food. No, we don't make you do that. That's the break that we're giving you over here. The Torah is giving you. So let's do the next Rashi for last wide line of Rashi. But Bakar. Once the Torah writes, whatever your heart desires, okay, Drasha. There must be that these specific items are mentioned for the purposes of a drasha. And the yar, now, you're not eating the yar. So what do you do with the yar? The yar is actual chulin that you bought with Ma'aser Sheni. It's not sanctified. The sanctification only applies to edible aspects. What other aspect is there? It isn't like you have to give the or to the bedek habayis. No, you don't have to. You can use your skin any way you want. You want to make a wallet and use it and sell it, on Canal Street? Go right ahead. There's no need to sell the skin to reacquire food and to eat that in Yerushalayim. The Torah is not requiring you to do that. So it's giving you a nice break as far as enjoying your Ma'aser Sheni without having to make these, very, very delicate calculations. Just enjoy, don't worry about it. Even, not only can you eat the skins, enjoy the skins and make a wallet and do whatever you want, you can even do it with the wool. Make yourself a beautiful sweater, okay, and give your granddaughter a Hanukkah sweater and not have to worry that it came from Ma'aser Sheni money. Agav gizusa, avagav deika tarte, even though there's two, or vigi, so there's the skin and then now there's the wool on top of the skin, the nafke l'chulin, they both go l'chulin. Okay, now the third case is the wine, agav kankan. Chavish al cheres. This was an earthenware barrel. Shayayin shomer b'tocha. Wine is held inside of it. V'yotza kankan l'chulin. And the kankan goes out to chulin. And now you want to use the kankan. I don't know, anywhere. You want to take it. You want. Can you do that? Yeah. The kankan is now yours. It's yours to use in any way you want, and it's completely yotza l'chulin. It's not. Has no sanctity attached to it whatsoever. Temed. What's this fourth case of this fermented? Grape juice kind of deal. What's that all about? So he says, "Shenoisnim mayim b'chartzanim." You put water into the grapes. Ukshehichmitz shnigma tesisuso. And when it ferments, where it's sort of I guess it's finished its fermenting process. It gets a little sour, whatever, and then it transforms into something actually drinkable. When it goes through that process, it actually becomes like wine. Alma, what do we see? Since we are learning, you can buy the cattle even together with the skin. Alma bavla shari. We see the the concept of when you buy something in one deal, that the money is sort of all rolled into the one package. You don't have to micromanage the deal and break up, the money only for edible items. Okay, even though the skin by itself is not something that's fitting for Ma'aser Sheni, the Ma'achal Binan, because there is no allowance to use Ma'aser Sheni for things that you just like to have. You can't buy a beautiful painting with Ma'aser Sheni and hang it up in your apartment in your shlime. You can't do that. Okay, it's not food. It's got to be food. But even though it's got to be food, these other adjuncts are okay because they're extensions of the food in a one deal kind of way, and then it happened through one deal. Okay, so let's that we caught up on the Rashis. Amrav Yochanan, back to the Gemara. Amrav Yochanan, man the metargem liba bakar aliba ben bagbag. So anybody who can explain to me this brisa of ben bagbag, of what he said and how he learns his bakar situation. Movlina Moivilna mane abasrei lebe mesusa. I will carry his garment to the bathhouse after him, and I will become his shamish. So this is Rabbi Yochanan, the Gadol Ador, saying that I've got a real problem with understanding this brayso. Anybody can explain it to me? Okay, he'll become king for the day, and I will literally serve him and take his garment to bathhouse. Well, my timer. Okay, what's your problem, Rabbi Yochanan? What's the reason why you have a problem? He says, "Kula tzrich lebram mi bakar." Okay, because all of them are necessary except for bakar. I don't see the need for bakar, and it seems like Ben Bagmag seemed to explain that bakar is also part of the drushes that make sense, and I don't see how it makes sense to have a need for bakar after you've got all the other three. My trich, what do you mean they're all needed? Let's go through the process of understanding why all of these different drushes are necessary. So let's go through one by one. If I just had the word bakar, havamina bakar hudim is david al gavora mishum de gufihu. Why do we allow bakar to work? Because, like we just said before, it's sold together with the meat because it's mamish on the animal. It's part of its body. An animal can't live without its skin. Okay, avot soin agav gizaso, but to buy the sheep together with the shearings, the lav gufe, which is not part of its intrinsic integral body, gufahu a maloi. I might say not. So clearly, bakar to get to tzoyin, you need another step. You never will be able to learn out tzoyin from bakar because bakar is intrinsic to the body, and by the tzoyin, it's not. Because if I just had tzoyin, I didn't have the next case of the yayin al gav gizaso. And if I just had that case of the shearings together with the sheep, havamina mishum de mechuberba, because it's not quite skin, but it's certainly attached. It's part of the body. But I would say the earthenware keg together with the wine, those are two different entities. You can't make them into one entity. You can't say that the keg becomes the wine. So I might say it doesn't work. So clearly I see how each one advances to the next step. And finally, because Rachmana biyayin, havamina mishum the haydun tirusa. Okay, I would say maybe if I just had the case of the wine without the last case, I would say because that it protects the wine. Okay, you can't have one without the other. You can't have the kugel without the aluminum pan. So I can see how an aluminum pan fits into the similar case as the keg. What? Yeah, okay, right, fine. So I can hear that can work. Aval temed. But maybe the this grape juice once it becomes fermented, the kiyua bialmu at that point it's all just oozed out stuff. I don't know how to translate kiyua, whatever. It's not really valid. Just
acidity.
Okay, just acidic junk.
Fermented, which is essentially water with only the acidity of the grapes.
Okay, so me'emaloi, I might say, so the water, which is not maybe the water can't count because it's just really essentially all you're really using is the grapes, and somehow the water should not be seen as anything of value there. I would say loy emalo. Therefore, shecher. So you need all of these four to build up one towards the other. But the obvious kasha is, it's great that they build up one towards the other, and I would never learn out 2 from 1, I would not learn out 3 from 2, I would not learn out 4 from 3. But if I had 4, then cut out the first 3. Just tell me 4, and wouldn't I already know the other 3, right? Whenever it goes this way, you always have to reverse it. Although sometimes in a Mishnah you don't have to necessarily reverse it. By Mishnah you can say lo zu avzu. You can say the Mishnah is building up in an order of explanation. But when it comes to a pasuk in a Torah, you can't really say that. So you have to explain. So once you have 4, I get that 4 can't be learned out from 3. But why can't 3, 2, and 1 be learned out from 4? Okay, or 3 and 4. So you have to cover all the angles. So now let's go the other way. Because Rachmana b'sheichar, the Torah just wrote sheichar. Now we're going to reverse it. The just wrote the fermented juice, right? B'sheichar v'amina, my sheichar. I would not know what sheichar is. I might think sheichar is devila ki'ilus, the peru. I might say it's pressed figs. Because sheichar has different definitions. It could be beer sometimes. It could be, old wine. It could be chveis. There's date stuff. So it could be a lot of different things. So maybe in this particular case, if I just had that, I would translate it as an actual edible item like pressed figs. Okay. But I would never say that wine can work with the keg. Okay, and therefore I need the yayin to explain to me what the shecher really meant. If I just had shecher by itself, but once I have the yayin, I know that the shecher is an extension of the yayin, and now I know how to learn shecher. I would never have known the right pshat of shecher without the yayin with the kankan. So that takes care of that. Because Rachmana yayin al gabi kankan, if I just had the case of the shecher together with the yayin, the hainu tirus, I would say, you know why it works there? Because it's protection. Avotzayin al gabi gizasai. Right, you can't store wine without a keg, but can you have sheep without wool? Yeah, you can have sheep without wool. So in a certain dimension, a certain level, you can see that that maybe yayin is better than the case of the wool. Eimoloi, therefore, because I would say no, maybe it doesn't work because Rachmana tzayin, and therefore the Torah has to write tzayin. A few al gabe gizasai, but therefore I would need a tzayin. To teach me that even the shearings work. But my problem is, and this is all an elaboration of his problem, but bakalamali. But why in the world do you need the cattle? Once you've got the wool on top of the
Well, no, but you also have the skin of the sheep.
Right. So once you have
Once you have the skin of the sheep, then you should have the skin of the cow too. When I buy the sheep,
I know you agree. Sounds like you're agreeing. Why do I need bakar? Whatever Tzayin is teaching me, for sure bakar is there. So I don't see the need for bakar. That's Rabbi Yochanan's problem. That's why he said, whoever can explain it to me, I'll take him to the bathhouse and carry his cloak for it. Now, we're not done though. Maybe you're going to argue, well, how do I know what tzayin means? Okay, maybe I would interpret sheep to only be referring to skin. I wouldn't know that sheep also allows the shearing. So maybe I need the baka to illuminate me on the issue of the tzayin, to tell me that the tzayin goes even for the shearings. And so let's see. He says, "V'ila kaz rachmana v'chitemi lo kaz rachmana b'boka have minute tzayin al gabi oirin al gabi gizos alai right kaz rachmana b'boka lasuye oro." Okay, and therefore I need baka to include even the skin. Include the skin, and therefore isolate tzayin lasuya gizasai, and that leaves me tzayin extra to include the shearings. Maybe that's the whole process, similar to what we did with the wine and the temet. We did it in order to illuminate what the word shecha really means. Well, I don't know. I'm still not happy. Okay, I don't agree with that type of wonderful reasoning. Why not? Because if Torah did not write the word bakar, I would never have interpreted tzayin to be only referring to its shearings. To its skin, and not to its shearings. Why? The imkain, because if it's just referring to its skin and not to its shearings, then the Torah should have replaced the word tzayin with bakar. The mela isolates tzayin, which Mamela leaves tzayin to be totally extra, because tzayin, in other words, there's no way that I would look at the word tzayin and say it's referring to skin, because for skin, tell me bakar. Use the word, if the only thing that I'm allowing is skin and not shearings, then tell me bakar, leave out tzayin, and I'm going to walk away thinking skins work and tzayin doesn't. If the Torah goes to a different type of animal that has shearings as opposed to the cattle that don't have shearings, the key in the tzayin, since the Torah did write tzayin, that fil agav gizaso, okay, that clearly indicates that it's telling me even the shearings, but bakalomali. Okay, he says, therefore I don't need bakar. You don't need bakar. Why? Because hashut tzayin al gav gizasim is davna. If sheep together with the shearings are able to be sold for ma'aser sheni, bakal gav ori boy. Okay, is there any question that for sure I'm allowed to also sell the baka together with the yar, because the sheep case clearly is the clearly advanced case of even selling the shearings. Once I have that halacha, the baka becomes a complete no-brainer. So at the end of the day, we don't see a justification for the word bakar. That's Rabbi Yochanan's problem, and that's why he said, "I need to come Rabbi Yochanan." This is why Rabbi Yochanan said, "Man de metargim li babakar alida aliba de ben bagbag my vilna monei lebei mesusa." And that's why he said, whoever can explain to me the brisa of Ben Bagbag and tell me where bakar fits in a logical way, where bakar is not extra, I will carry his garment because I don't have pshat. I don't say I have pshat. To me, that tzayin is clearly enough. With tzayin, I would have assumed tzayin is only referring to skin. I would have known tzayin is referring to also shearings, and so I don't get it. Okay, so Taka, we're left with we don't get it. Rabbi Yochanan is left with a dilemma. Let's catch up on the Rashis here. Okay, man. Right, so Madam Matagam Bakar, the Litzruch Lemichtave, Aliyudim Bagbag, right, the one who says Bakar, who, according to Ben Bagbag, where Torah has to write it, is to teach me Oro. The skin is attached to the basar. You can't skin it when it's alive. It can't stay alive when you skin it. So obviously, it needs its skin, and it's more part of the animal. But shearings, you can shear skin, the wool off the animal when it's alive. And I would say that's also. You can't use that wool with ma'aser sheni money. The lagufa the parrot. It's not the physical part of the parrot. Or kiyuha, I would say if I only had the yayin, I would say, but the water of the temed is kiyuha balma kamo takino shenav. It's what was the word you used? Acidic. Okay, Klaimar, lav pira mamishu elamayim bam, but it's not really the fruit, it's really water. Shnichlas ben kiyua shel chartzanim, that you put the water into the thing. So maybe at the end of the day, I might not consider this really valid food, because all it is water with acidic, grapes.
It's got alcohol in it.
Yeah, well.
The art school here says.
Yeah.
Note 7. It said, it quotes Rashi. It says, after the juice has been squeezed out of the grapes, the seeds, see Rashi below, are left soaking in water for an extended period. Eventually, an alcoholic beverage called temid will result. Prior to fermentation, temid may not be purchased with mice or money. So it has to have some alcohol. It's basically
right. So,
alcohol.
Right. Okay. But prior to that, really, you couldn't purchase it. So I would say, like you lost your identity as a food at this point, and just because now you come back and you become a shtickle whiny, that's maybe not enough. And if I need the chiddush that it can apply.
Vodka or something. It's just a clear alcohol.
Yeah. Okay, because of Sheikhor, next Rashi, because of Sheikhor, and if I just had the word Sheikhor and started with that, you'd say, hey, if that works, everything works. No. Havamina, Havloli, Olam Asir, I would say Havlol B'chal never works. Vai Sheikhor Lav Temedu, and this Sheikhor is not really referring to Temed, the Neilf Minei, the Yohiv, the Mayim Shel Mayim Avla, and you're allowed to pay the water of the Temed as part of the Avla for the temet. I might say that this shecher is a mamish item of pressed figs. The mishakra, from the place that they make beer, date beer. If you ate figs, pressed figs from the place called kilis, and you go into the base of mikdash, you're chayiv because you're inebriated to some degree. Okay, so I would never have known the imkain the tzoin lavla mishra giza. So if this is back in the very end of the piece, if indeed the tzoin is not coming for the shearing, but coming for what? Okay, only for the skin. The imkain the tzoin lavla mishra giza hudasa ela or then love because of tzoin. You never would have written the word sheep. The sheep would not be there. Ela bakar, you would have put in cattle instead of sheep. The less giza, which doesn't have any shearings. So it must be, since the Torah bonded to write the word sign, it needed to be for the shearings, and the word bakar now seems to be completely not unnecessary, and as a result, Rabbi Yochanan does not know what the story is with bakar, and we'll have to pick this up tomorrow.